what if I told you there's a lawn mowing robot with no wires, no guides, and it even learns the shape of your garden? Well, this is the Lymo 1, an autonomous lawnmower with blades spinning at 6,000 revolutions. A cutting width of 400 millimeters of battery that reaches 15,000 milliamp hours, and a range capable of covering more than 2,000 square meters. Oh, and all of that with only 68 decibels of noise, less than a normal conversation. Today we'll test it and check its speed. How does it perform on uneven terrain in its control app, which promises to manage up to 80 different zones? We'll see if it delivers on its promises. Ready to find out what this little garden monster can do? Let's go! I'll explain everything here on TechGround. Lymo might not sound as familiar as other brands, but they've made history because in 2024 they launched the Lymo 1 on Kickstart, and they raised over $7 million in funding with more than 3,000 backers. The reason is very clear. They wanted to create the most advanced robotic lawnmower in the world without the need for perimeter wires, with smart navigation and performance worthy of professional equipment. So today we're gonna see if all that crowdfunding revolution has been worth it. First, let's do a quick unboxing, and I'll keep telling you more things. We have a pretty big and also pretty simple box. And when you open it, the first thing that stands out is this huge sign with a quick start guide showing all the parts and the necessary setup we'll need to follow to get the equipment up and running. Right underneath, there's this shaped foam where everything is really well organized. We find the spikes, the tips to attach the real-time kinematic pole, different screws and plugs to set it up, or vertically on the wall if we don't want it on the floor. All kinds of cables to charge and connect the different components. Lag screws for the charging base, user manual, the satellite antenna, and the aluminum tubes to set up the real-time kinematic vertically on the ground, as I mentioned before. And we also have an arm to mount it on the wall with those metal anchors we saw earlier. And of course, let's not forget the antenna, which is absolutely necessary to connect it to our satellite receiver and have direct communication with the global positioning system. We take off the top foam with the accessories and see this monster emerge. I'm telling you, it's pretty big, pretty heavy, and honestly, it was really hard for me to get it out of the box simply because, to be honest, it weighs quite a lot. Right underneath, we also find the base, the station where the robot will be connected for charging and direct connection with the device. We have it. Once it's out of the box, we have it here, so let's take it to the garden and test it out. Let's move on to physical design, which I always like to discuss first. The LYMOW 1's design is especially impressive up close. It's a beast, not just because of its futuristic look, as you can see, but also because every detail is so well thought out. At the front, we find the floating cutting deck. This deck has the 2 rotary blades mounted on it. It's a deck that not only adjusts the cutting height, which ranges from 30 to 100 millimeters, but also collects all the debris. It functions like a drawer, collecting debris and keeping it from the main chassis. Honestly, it's a clean, efficient, and sophisticated solution that most robots lack. This tray rests on some 360-degree swiveling front wheels. I call them that because they're not solid fixed wheels like we've seen in other models, but rather a kind of bearing, with small wheels attached to a large wheel, so that it pivots smoothly on itself, while the actual push will be done by the rear drive axle made up of these tracks. Thanks to this setup, LYMOW is able to move with stability and precision, even on uneven terrain. On the main chassis block, we find these ultrasonic sensors distributed on the front and sides, which will help detect obstacles. And right above, we can see the artificial intelligence cameras and the 2 LED headlights. These headlights provide powerful, cool-toned lighting. And on the sides, on the handle, the ergonomic grips act as a carrying handle, although I have to say that carrying it is quite a challenge. Just one person, unless you're very strong. At the top are LED indicators, these two side lights that change color based on alerts, messages, battery level, and more. And in the central area, we see the physical screen back here, which shows us the basic information of the system. Around it, we have localized buttons, very easy to turn the home on and off, the plus and minus, manually adjust the cutting height, and from here, you can also enter the unlock code for the previous system. And right behind it, we find the stop button that immediately stops the blades in a matter of milliseconds in case there's any kind of anomaly. On the back, we find the cover that gives access to the removable battery with the connector that goes directly in. If you prefer, you can remove the battery and charge it separately. If we flip the bottom part, I'm not doing it now, but you'll see. Another detail is that the chassis is fully reinforced and has 2 magnetic contacts so it can be charged on its base securely. The entire assembly is built on a reinforced aluminum structure with matte gray and black finishes. It also has an ingress protection marking, 6 certification, which means it is resistant to rain, dust, and can be cleaned safely with moderate water pressure. That's right. In short, a solid functional design, as I said, very well engineered, and it looks like a robot built to last for many years. It's very well built and it feels pretty solid. Let's discuss the specifications and how it works, which is essential to understand. The LYMOW features a dual system called Light Cut Dual Rotary Blade, a dual blade system with 2 blades that spin at 6,000 revolutions per minute. Nominal power is 300 watts, maximum is 1,200, which will allow it to cut quickly, cleanly, and precisely, even on lawns that are very dense or other types of brush, as I usually see, and this allows it to cut dense and wide lawns. Mulching is real. It grinds up the clippings to fertilize the soil and also improves the appearance of the garden over time. With its cutting width, which is quite pronounced at 400 millimeters, and a noise level of 68 decibels, you'll be able to work at home without any problem without it being really bothersome. It comes with a 15,000 mAh at 35.2V LiFePO 4 battery. It provides 3 hours of autonomy and lasts around 2,000 cycles. When it runs out, it automatically returns to the base, docks, the connectors on the bottom make contact, and it recharges. Only with a fast charger, which goes from 10% to 90% in just 90 minutes. It combines real-time kinematic and visual simultaneous localization and mapping for navigation, enabling accurate, wire-free, beacon-free mapping of the entire area, even among trees or structures without any problem. It will be able to create up to 80 independent zones and connect each one through virtual roads, moving from one map to another on its own. This is really fabulous if we have different parts of the lawn in our garden. The LYMOW app is very simple and complete. You can adjust the height, cutting pattern, speed, schedules, and zones from your phone, and control the locks and wing systems. If the robot leaves the allowed area, it exits immediately. Only you can unlock it with the code or the app, preventing third parties from using it. Or if someone steals it and takes it to the neighbor's yard. Let's see, the app is very intuitive and simple. We have this main screen where we see our product, the One, which is the device we currently have connected. We can add a device, change its name, or remove it. Here we can see the temperature. It's already synced with the satellite image using this real-time kinematic we had to scan. You actually need to scan the satellite with this to synchronize. And we also have the battery percentage and the option to create a map. At the bottom, there are several sections: device service, unavailable, profile for account info, and the help center. And about us. At the top right is the notifications section, which currently has none. In settings, we can view or change the personal identification number code at any time. We can also view the anti-theft feature, which sets a radius for the device to stay connected, and if it leaves that area, it locks. Also, the option to lock the device if we want to restrict it so it can't be moved. The backup, beginner's guide, camera light, and vehicle LED, all of which we can toggle on or off. Within the app, also in this section, notifications and the version, in case it needs an update. Let's go back and start creating a map. We press it and we can now proceed to work, let's say by radio control, wirelessly, so we can control it. The first thing is to add the station, update the location of the charging station, which is where it is currently located. We also see a global positioning system dot, and the charging station has been correctly located. The Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and battery, as you can see, appear in orange, depending on whether we are getting closer or farther away. We have precise coverage and the location. The accuracy is 0.02 meters, so it may vary by up to 15 to 20 centimeters. Control the lights here, turn them on or off, delete, configure, or set up a channel or a zone. As shown in the plus, we can set or save a zone and also set up an exclusion zone. We'll handle the sewer system there ourselves. It also acts as a channel, connecting different zones. So if we have multiple locations, zones, or maps, a channel links them. Our farm is very big and we want it to go from here to here or from there to there. They're different zones. Create a default channel for it. And finally, the charging zone, which we've seen. Then on the joystick up here, what appears is the movement speed. Response time, 0.31 MZ. Cutting height, adjustable here, ranges from 3 to 9.5 centimeters. The blade speed ranges from a minimum of 3,000 revolutions per minute up to the device's maximum. That's worth remembering. First, I'll create a new map and start working with it. And just being a little closer so that the coverage, as you can see right now, has already changed. Now everything is green. Is this correct? And can I do the mapping effectively? Just control it. Marking a new area for us, and here we're going to start creating our first map. In this case, this area here is a little drier, but well, we're going to try to cover this whole environment to do the tests. Our first area would be done. Once we have it here, I've run a test. We need to work on several sections since the garden is divided, but one is already marked. I'll save it, and that area is done. Here it shows the cutting height. What height should we use in this area? We can choose the blade speed and other settings ourselves. The cutting height, I'm gonna set it to cut at 4 centimeters and the blade speed to go at 4,000. The movement speed, also for detection, is going to be 0.6 milliseconds, which is fine, the angle of the stripe. How much we want to cut and in which direction is very important. It's going to allow us to say, well, we want to cut in this direction, we want to cut in this direction. Okay, I'm going to choose to cut in the direction that the garden more or less goes. The separation between passes, here it says the distance of each route. There's a smaller separation that guarantees complete coverage. Well, 35 passes at most. The order of cutting, perimeter first, main area first. So I always recommend starting with the perimeter. That way, it cuts everything around first and then starts cutting the inside, kind of like home cleaning robots, so to speak. Turn off the motor when exterior cutting occurs. If it crosses boundaries, it stops the motor to prevent passing our line. The cutting pattern can be zigzag or chessboard, arranged in various directions. The chessboard pattern can also be rotated. The obstacle detection mode is smart and can identify obstacles in its path. We save, we go back, and now we have our map here. Let's go to the overview. Here we can set up the channel, here it is, set up the zone like we did before, and modify the border. Important, what I'm going to create is an exclusion zone. Important, we're going to set up an exclusion zone, and I'm going to tell it where it's going to be. Where I don't want it to cut is here. This is the exclusion zone I don't want cut. As mentioned, there's a sewer where the robot is. Exclusion zone set. And finally, the obstacle detection system. It combines artificial intelligence with ultrasonic sensors, thus avoiding collisions and reacting effectively in real time. And it detects movements this way. Any objects, pets, or children in your home. Altogether, the whole system is designed to work together. The whole system is designed, and I think with the tests we've done, which you'll also see on screen, it seems to deliver on that. After doing some small tests in the garden, I think I'm pretty convinced. This robot is much faster than most I've tried. The cut is impeccable and it's very easy to use with the app. It's very smooth and the lighting is honestly excellent, allowing you to keep working at night without any problems. As for less practical points, I'd mention the weight, which requires some strength to move, even 2 people. It would be great if they added a feature to let you draw a pattern or shape on the lawn. With its pressure, I think it could make really cool drawings, maybe even our soccer team's pattern if possible. Other than that, it's a well-rounded, powerful machine, pretty quiet, with good battery life and very sturdy. It perfectly delivers what it promises and does so with a speed and stability that put it a step ahead of many of its competitors. So if you're looking for a lawnmower that does the job for you with full control from your phone without any complications, I think this is a device you can have right now if you have a garden and it can climb slopes of up to 45%. To finish, you might be wondering, how much does this beast cost? It's not cheap, but we already know that home tools are usually not cheap. It's listed at 2,135 euros on the official website. You can also buy some blade sets separately if you want regular blades, other super swing blades as they call them, or even an extra battery. And that's it as always. If you liked this review, leave me a like, subscribe, and let me know down below. Would you also let this little giant take care of your garden? Link in the description so you can access the marketplaces. And I'll see you in the next video here on TechGround. Thank you so much for being there, greetings, and may technology be with you. See you soon.